Let's look at this book itself and ask, is there anything in this book that indicates its divine origins? And I will say that when Christians and Muslims want to argue with atheists and prove the existence of God, we say that there is design in nature, and that design points to a designer. Moreover, as Colin Ronan has pointed out in his book, The Universe, there is mathematics behind everything in the universe, the arrangement of stars and planets and galaxies and everything, and that mathematics points to a grand mathematician who put it all together. Now, what if we find that things are arranged in the Quran? If we find a design in this text, we have to ask our questions. Is this design due to any of the human beings who worked on this text, or is this due to the Almighty God? Let me tell you some of the things that we do find. You may have been given a paper as you came in, actually two papers, one of them entitled The Quran is a Mathematical Miracle, and the other entitled The Number 19 in the Quran, a Sign of Its Divine Origin. I would look at the first paper first. In the first column of the first page, I detail a number of instances where the Quran mentions a word and also a contrasting word, and though these words are in very different places in the Quran, it turns out now, as we can see, that the two words, the one and its contrast, are used an equal number of times. For example, hot and cold are used in the Quran 4 times each. Man and woman, 24 times each. The Quran in Surah 3, verse number 59 says that the example of Jesus with God is like Adam, meaning that God created them both. Now we can see that, in fact, Jesus and Adam are each mentioned 25 times in the Quran. We always speak of the devil and angels in contrast. It turns out Satan is mentioned 68 times in the Quran, and angels mentioned also 68 times. Now that's if we take the words by themselves. If we take the words with all of their adjuncts and variations, it turns out that there's 88 on one side and also 88 on the other side. So it's balanced again. We contrast this life with the life hereafter. The word for this life in the Quran occurs 115 times, and also the word for the life hereafter occurs 115 times. How did this coincidence come about? Are all of these just coincidence, or is this a plan? And was this a plan of human beings? Jay can come back and tell us which human being or which caliph planned this to come out this way, and then we'll see if he's right. If Jay doesn't have the answer to this, I'll tell you my answer. From what I know of the Quran and its history, this is evidence of the divine origin of the Quran.